Hey guys, wise decision number 7 we'll be covering today. Choose to live longer and happier. This is the part A, avoid drugs and alcohol. I'm going to go ahead and start with a summary sentence that it has in here at the end, because I just think it puts it so well, this entire topic. So let me switch this around and show you guys that. So yeah, right here it says, we have never met an individual who regretted making the choice to refuse to mess up his brain with alcohol and drugs. And then continue on, but we have each encountered hundreds of individuals who made the popular decision of trying drugs while they were young and have lived to regret that choice. So what about you? Is it worth it? So I think, when it comes to drugs and decision, let's just take them one at a time. So let's start with drugs. So, for me, I know I decided not to do drugs when I was in high school, or I've never done drugs. So, but that decision was made, I think, just based on kind of what I saw out there with people that did go down that road, and how they would start with one, just call it an entry drug like marijuana, and then it would just lead to addiction, and I would just see these guys' lives deteriorate. So it was like, I don't even want to get on that road. So for me, that's how I came to that decision. In the book here, they talk about how they arrived at their decision to not do drugs, and it was kind of along a similar line. It was, they didn't want to put their life on that possible path, and so they made that decision. And to make that decision easier, I think you need to find like-minded people and hang out with like-minded people. I thought this was pretty powerful. Gary, he talks about how he came to his decision to stay away from drugs, and it really came down to he was a witness to a motorcycle accident, and it was caused by the motorcyclist had drugs in his body, and it really messed him up. And they came upon this motorcycle accident. They heard it, and they went to go help the guy, and he was just really messed up, and just screaming the whole time. Like, they couldn't maintain a conversation with him because he was in so much pain. So that's what helped Gary make his decision. Like, I'm not going to get in drugs because, look what happened to this guy. And drugs and alcohol are addictive. There's an addictive nature to them. It can be hard to break that habit. And so the easiest way to not get addicted is not even start in the first place. So that's my recommendation for you guys. But you need to each make your decision on that. Okay, the next one is decision is like drinking. So do you drink, alcohol or not? So for me, the decision I made in high school is I didn't want to drink. Again, it had to do with the risks, and the the way I was able to maintain that was I had like-minded friends and who also didn't drink, and I'd hang out in those circles, and alcohol and drinking would never come up, so it was never a thing. Now, when I got to college, it's a little bit of a different story, because I did drink in college. Do I regret it? Yeah, I'd say a bit. I do. I wasn't anchored in my relationship with God at that point, and didn't have that foundation. So it was like what a lot of people did, and I think you see that in high school too, and you're going to see it more in college. Like, when people get together, that's what they do. It's just something to fill the time, and then the way alcohol works is it kind of takes your inhibitions down, and then you'll find yourself saying things you normally wouldn't say. Like, you normally have a filter in your head that's like, well, I'm not going to say that. But when you start drinking, that filter tends to come down, and then you could end up saying things you regret, or doing things that you regret. And, like drinking and driving, for example, major big problem. I mean, same's true for drugs. I saw some lady just yesterday swerving all over the road. Some young teenage girl, I figured that she must have been on drugs or something. But yeah, so you got to make the decision on each one of those. Another thing I should mention, I want to be clear on what the Bible says regarding drugs and drinking. And like the Bible, I'd say regarding drugs, the Bible has lots of verses about being in control and not having something, in your body that is taking control of you. So I'd say, the Bible does not, is like against drug use. Now, with drinking, the Bible says, like, do not be drunk. It doesn't say that you can't have a drink or two, but it's very clear about being drunk. And that's when all of a sudden, like, the effects of the alcohol change your ability to make good decisions. And that filter, like I was talking about, goes away. So, like, that's where the Bible stands on these topics. And if you want to discuss those further, please feel free to discuss with me, and we can actually get out some verses and look at them.